Hey guys, hope your day is going really well right now. And for those of you guys who are landlords, I think I have some information that you might find helpful if you're not already doing it. What form of rental payment do you accept? Do you have a type of rental payment that you usually accept? I know a lot of landlords have their old way of doing things, knocking on doors and collecting rent in person. I just wanted to go over this with you because I think it's something that more landlords need to know about. There are different types of rent payment. So, happy Monday to you guys. This is John Nuzzolese from the Landlord Protection Agency. I hope your day is going really well so far. I hope you guys find this information helpful. What form of rent payment do you accept? Now, I know the way my father used to do it, and I know so many landlords who still go around in person and knock on doors. And there has to be a better way, right? There's definitely a better way to collect the rent because you guys are in the modern age now. So collecting the rent, there are so many different ways of doing it, but the best rent collection methods, I believe, are what we're going to talk about today. So feel free to share this with other landlords if you know anybody who can benefit from it. But I know the way my dad used to do it, and I know the way a lot of other landlords are doing it right now, and that is the hard way. So many people do it the hard way. This is 2016. We're going on to 2017. And collecting the rent should not be a very time-consuming chore, okay? So the way a lot of people do it is they go door to door. They knock on doors and see the tenant on the first of every month or whatever day they schedule to see that tenant. Now, I'm sure you guys know there are some of these things that are wrong. Caroline, I see you wait for it at home. Okay. A lot of people do it that way. They have the tenant come to their house with the rent. And I don't want the tenants to know where I live. I don't want them to be able to come to my house. And I remember years ago, it would drive me crazy when tenants would come to our house. It was crazy. On Christmas Day, holidays, Thanksgiving. You don't want these tenants coming to your house. I don't want them to have my home phone number, much less my home address. So we've got different ways of collecting the rent, the better ways. No more door-to-door knocking on doors. And what happens when you knock on the door to collect the rent? Well, it breaks down the professional relationship, first of all, because the tenants see you there in person. They grab you, come on in, have a cup of coffee, have a little snack. Oh, by the way, this needs fixing. There's a problem with this faucet, it's dripping. Whatever it is, they're going to come up with all kinds of things that you don't have time for that. And it turns into a long time consuming thing when you see the tenants personally every time you collect the rent. So, one method of collecting the rent, one of my preferred methods that I've been using for many years is we've got our payment slips and pre-printed envelopes. That's one of them, but it's not really even the most efficient one. So if you guys are tuning in right now, this is John Nuzzolese from the Landlord Protection Agency. We're talking about collecting the rent, the different methods of collecting the rent, which are better than seeing the tenant in person every month, knocking on the door, or having the tenant come to your home. You don't want the tenant coming to your home and interrupting your holiday meals. So there are different ways, and Linda, that's one of them. Depositing in the account on the first of each month. First, I'm going to tell you, we had given everyone our payment slip with pre-printed envelopes, and it had to be in our post office box by a particular date before the 1st in order to qualify for an early payment discount. So that was working pretty well with close to between 50 and 60 tenancies. It was going pretty good, but it wasn't always the best way because there are some landlords who have PayPal accounts who would prefer to do it electronically with PayPal. And that I thought was pretty neat, but we never really wound up getting most tenants to want to do that. But we found that when we thought tenants were setting it up electronically with their bank, we were getting the rent before the due date in our management company P.O. box by check, made out by Citibank or Chase or Bank of America, whatever bank the tenants had. It was coming into our P.O. box with a bank check. And we thought, and the tenant, I think, thought that it was going to go electronically, where it would transfer from one account to the other account. But it actually was a check sent by the bank. Maybe it was cheaper for them to do it that way. But that's okay, because it was on schedule like clockwork, and that's the way they come in for most of our tenants. They come in that way like clockwork. But we also give them the payment slip template that we've got on the LPA website under the forms, where you customize a payment slip, and we staple all the months together, and we make a little book, sort of like a car payment booklet or a loan payment booklet with pre-printed envelopes. So that works really well. We've been doing that for many years. But one of the things that you also need to be prepared with, and if you do use the payment slips, I think it's a great idea. One of the things it does is it itemizes what the tenant's late fee is. For people who pay their rent manually using the regular mail, it's a very good idea to use these payment slips, because they itemize the amount of the rent, the amount of the late fee with the day the rent becomes late, the amount of a bounce check charge. That's also very important to be in there. It's a very good idea to have these payment slips itemize how much the late fee is and the date that the rent is late, how much a bounce check fee is, and you don't want that happening. But it's a very good idea to have that in the payment slip, so that it reminds the tenants every time they make a rent payment and they see that slip, they know how much their late charge is and how much other fees are too. Also, if they have an early payment discount, it's good to itemize that so they know to pay early. More importantly, very important to have your late fee clause, and we've got it in the book, Landlord Power 50 Kick-Ass Lease Clauses, because you need the forms to enforce them too. So that's that book that's in our LPA Lifetime membership. But all the forms and all the articles are already on the LPA website, and the articles are free. So you check them all out. Also, with the Lifetime Pack, you get the discs with the 4 categories of forms. So you've got the lease forms, the rental application forms, the lease enforcement forms, and of course all the property management forms. So they all come in handy. It's really very helpful to have that all ready to go to keep your tenants on track. There is also a special service that we have on the website for tenant reporting, which is Clear Now. Clear Now is a special service that actually electronically transfers the money from the tenant's account to your account and reports to Experian that the tenant has paid on time or late. So that's a great way to help tenants build their credit. If they're thinking of buying a house someday and they really care about their credit, you do pay for that service. It's not that much though. And it's on the LPA website under Tenant Reporting, because Clear Now collects the rent for the landlord, deposits it in the account, and reports to Experian that the payment was made on time. So for people who want to help their tenants build credit, that's another good way. So the days of going and knocking on doors are over, okay? I hope that helps. Try not to knock on tenants' doors, because it is a trap that you get caught up in, and you wind up wasting a lot of time with tenants, and they seize the opportunity to try to take advantage of you and get stuff out of you and get you to do things for them. So I prefer the best way is where they make an automatic payment with the bank, or payment slips where they mail to your P.O. box, or the Clear Now automated way. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful to people that you may know. Please share it and like it if you think anyone can benefit from it. And thank you for tuning in and watching this. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome rest of the day. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, thanks. Take care.